Good morning students, I am Lalita, Department of Chemistry from Mount Zion Matriculation Higher Secondary School. In this session, we are going to discuss chemical reactions, characteristic of chemical reactions. What are the characteristics of chemical reaction? Evolution of gas, change in color, formation of precipitate, change in temperature, change in smell, change in state are known as characteristics of chemical reaction. In this session, we are going to discuss one by one. The changes around us are classified into two types, that is physical change and chemical change. In physical change, there are no new substances are formed, but in chemical change, new substances are formed. For example, in boiling of water, drying of cloths, melting of ice cream, no new substances are formed. But in burning of coal, rusting of metal, decomposition of organic matter or new substances are formed. For example, substance A and B react with each other, it gives the new compound AB. At the same time, the compound AB decomposes into substance A and B. Both are chemical reactions. Sometimes the compound AB react with another substance C, it gives the new compound AC and B. Sometimes the compound AB and CD react with each other. It gives the new compounds AD and CB. So, chemical reactions involve chemical changes. In chemical reaction, the new substances are formed with new properties. The rearrangement of atoms takes place between the reacting substances to form new substances having entirely different properties. For example, hydrogen react with oxygen, it gives water. In this reaction, hydrogen and oxygen are reactants and water is a product. Like that, magnesium react with oxygen, that is, magnesium ribbon is heated, it burns with the air, it gives the flame, white flame, and it forms a white powder substance. This is known as magnesium oxide. So, here the magnesium and oxygen are reactants and the magnesium oxide is a product. In the second example, zinc and sulfuric acid is the reactants and zinc sulfate and hydrogen are the products. And then here sodium and chlorine are the reactants and sodium chloride is the product. Now we are going to discuss the characteristics of chemical reactions. The conversion of reactants into products in a chemical reaction is accompanied by some features which can be observed easily. So, the easily observable features which takes place as a result of chemical reactions are known as characteristics of chemical reactions. The evolution of gas is one of the characteristics of chemical reactions. Now we are going to discuss evolution of gases. Some chemical reactions are characterized by the evolution of a gas which can be seen in the form of effervescence or fumes. For example, when vinegar is added to baking soda, the effervescence of carbon dioxide is evolved. So, the chemical reaction between baking soda and vinegar is characterized by the evolution of carbon dioxide gas. These are the examples of evolution of gas. For from these chemical reaction, the hydrogen gas is released. So, evolution of hydrogen gas. Here also evolution of hydrogen gas. In these experiments also hydrogen gas is released. And then magnesium sulfuric acid react with magnesium sulfate and the hydrogen gas released. So, here the hydrogen gases are released in these reactions. So, these are the examples of evolution of gas. And then next character, the change in color. Some chemical reactions are characterized by the change in color. For example, citric acid. Citric acid react with potassium permanganate solution, the purple color, the potassium permanganate is in purple color. the purple color is disappears when we add the citric acid. So the chemical reaction between citric acid and the purple color potassium permanganate solution is characterized by the change in color. So we can perform the reaction between citric acid and a potassium permanganate solution is a chemical reaction. Here both are the colorless liquid. When we add with each other, the yellow color, the solution becomes yellow color. Okay, like that the yellow color solution added with the colorless solution, it becomes red color. Here the colorless solution added with some element, it changes into blue color solution. So next we are going to discuss the formation of precipitate. A precipitate is a solid product. It is separate from the solution during a chemical reaction. This precipitate is insoluble in the solution. It is not soluble. Solution means the solute is dissolved in the solution. Suspension means it is not dissolved but it is settled down. The precipitate is insoluble in the solution, aqueous solution. So sometimes the precipitate can also be formed by the passing a gas into the aqueous solution. So the chemical reaction is characterized by the formation of the precipitate also. For example, when potassium iodide solution is added to a solution of lead acetate, then yellow precipitate of lead iodide is formed. Potassium iodide react with lead acetate, the yellow color precipitate is formed. It is known as lead iodide. Now we are going to discuss the next character, change in temperature. So some chemical reactions often produce heat energy. The chemical reaction produces heat energy. The temperature of the reaction mixer rises and it becomes hot. When we touch the solution, it becomes hot. Like that, some chemical reactions absorb heat. Some chemical reactions release heat. Some chemical reactions absorbs heat energy. When a chemical reaction absorbs heat energy, then the temperature of the reaction mixers falls and it becomes cold. When we touch the solution, we feel cool. So the change in temperature can be a rise in temperature or fall in temperature. The chemical reaction between, for example, the chemical reaction between quicklime and water, it forms the slake lime. The new substance slake lime. It is characterized by the change in temperature. So the reaction between quicklime and water, it will form the slake lime is an exothermic reaction. Exothermic means it releases the heat energy. So the change in temperature, sometimes the temperature falls, sometimes the temperature rises. When the reaction occurs, the temperature falls means it absorbs the heat. The temperature rise means it releases the heat. When the reaction between quicklime and water is example for exothermic reaction. So any reaction in which heat energy is released means it is known as exothermic reaction. Any reaction in which heat energy is absorbed means it is known as endothermic reaction. For example, for endothermic reaction, barium hydroxide it react with ammonium chloride. It becomes, when we mix it with a glass rod, it becomes cool. The barium chloride and ammonia water are formed. It becomes the solution. When we touch the test tube, it becomes cold. So a lot of energy is absorbed during this reaction, due to which the temperature of the reaction mixer falls and the bottom of the test tube becomes very cold. One more example, ammonium chloride is dissolved in water. In a test tube, a lot of heat energy is absorbed due to the heat energy absorbed, the test tube becomes cold. So, any reaction in which heat energy is absorbed is known as endothermic reaction. Any reaction in which heat energy is released is known as exothermic reaction. So, in the change in temperature, the temperature may be rises or temperature may be falls. Next characters, change in smell. Some of the chemical reactions are characterized by the smell. For example, when dilute hydrochloric acid is heated with iron sulfide, hydrogen sulfide gas is released with rotten egg smell. Similarly, when ammonia chloride is heated with sodium hydroxide solution, ammonia gas is released which has the strong pungent smell. Next character is change in state. Some of the chemical reactions are characterized by the change in state. When wax is burned, then water and carbon dioxide gas is formed. You know this when we burn the candle, the carbon dioxide black color smoke is evolved from the candle. So this black color smoke is known as carbon dioxide gas. So when wax is burned, the water and the carbon dioxide are formed. Now wax is a solid, water is a liquid, whereas carbon dioxide is a gas. So the three states also formed when we burn the wax. So change in state also characterized of the chemical reactions. During the combustion reaction of wax, the physical state changes from solid to liquid and a gas. So, this reaction occurs only in combustion. Only we burn the candle. Suppose we melt the candle, the state does not occur. The change of state does not occur. The combustion reaction of the candle wax is characterized by the change in state from solid to liquid and a gas. Next, we are going to discuss catalyst. Some chemical substances speed up a chemical reaction without being consumed in the process. They are not involved in the chemical reaction, but they speed up the chemical reaction. So, these chemical substances are called catalysts. So, now we have discussed the characteristics of the chemical reaction. First one is evolution of gas. Then we are going to discuss change in state. Next we have discussed change in color. Next we have discussed formation of precipitate. Next we have discussed change in smell and change in temperature also. So these are the characteristics of the chemical reactions. Okay students, I think you have understood the chemical reactions and the characteristics of the chemical reactions. Thank you students.